everybody and welcome to our e-learning class. I'm Miss El-Maadi, English teacher for Prep1, and I'm here today to cover with you today Module 3 Grammar Part 2, the comparison. Let's start our session. We will start now, guys, our session starting from slide 2, comparison of adjectives. And we will talk about the adjectives. We have two kinds of adjectives. We have short adjectives like young, cold, tall, and we have some long adjectives like comfortable, expensive, popular. Let's move on to slide 3. We will talk now, guys, about the comparative adjectives and when we can use that comparative adjectives. We use comparative adjectives to compare one noun to another noun. In these instances, only two items are being compared. So now, guys, in that comparative adjectives, we have only two items and we can compare between them. And then we have another kind of comparative. We have superlative adjectives. Superlative adjectives are used to compare between three or more nouns. Now, let's move on to slide 4. As you see now, guys, we will talk about the comparative adjectives. We use comparative adjectives to show change or make comparisons. Like, this car is certainly better, but it's much more expensive. Then, I'm feeling happier now. We need a bigger garden, and we use than when we want to compare one thing to another. For example, I can say, she is 2 years older than me. New York is much bigger than Boston. He is a better player than Ronaldo. France is a bigger country than Britain. Then, let's move on to slide 5. Now, guys, we can use that to the comparative form with the comparative adjectives to show that one thing depends on another. For example, I can say, the faster you drive, the more dangerous it is. When you drive faster, it is more dangerous. The higher they climb, the colder it got. When they climbed higher, it got colder. For example, I can say, if I need to compare between two, I can say, my house is larger than hers. This box is smaller than the one I lose. So now I'm comparing between two. Between this box and between the box that I lost before. Your dog runs faster than Jem's dog. I'm comparing now between your dog and Jem's dog. The rock flew higher than the roof. Jem and Jack are both my friends, but I like Jack better than Jem. Is understood. Then, guys, let's move on to slide 6, and we will talk now about superlative adjectives. We use that with the superlative adjectives. For example, I can say, it was the happiest day of my life. I can say, Everest is the highest mountain in the world. That's the best film I have seen this year. I have 3 sisters. Jan is the oldest and Angela is the youngest. Now, after we have finished slide 6, let's move on to slide 7. I can say, guys, my house is the largest one in the neighborhood. So now, guys, I'm making a comparison between my house and all the houses inside the neighborhood. I can say, this is the smallest box I have ever seen. I can say, your dog ran the fastest of any dog in the race. Also, I can say, we all threw our rocks at the same time. My rock flew the highest. Of all the rocks is understood. So now I'm comparing it between our rocks and all the rocks. That's why I'm saying my rock flew the highest. I'm using superlative form. Let's move on to slide 8. And now, guys, we will talk how we can form the comparative and superlative adjectives. We usually add er and est to one-syllable words to make comparatives and superlatives. If an adjective ends in e, we add or st. If an adjective ends in a vowel and a consonant, we double the consonant. For example, if I'm saying for you, now, if the adjective ends in a consonant change Y to I and add ER or EST. And we use more or most to make comparatives and superlatives for most two-syllable adjectives and for all adjectives with 3 or more syllables. Let's check now our schedule on slide 9, and we will talk about the irregular forms. We have some irregular forms like go or well as an adverb. We can transfer it, we can change it into better than. This is in comparative form. And in the superlative form, it will be the best. Also, if we have bad or badly, in the comparative form will be worse than. In superlative form, it will be the worst. If we have much or many, in comparative form, it will be more than. In superlative form, it will be the most. If we have little as an adjective, in the comparative form will be less than. In superlative form will be the least. And then guys, if we have adjective like for, it will be further or further than, and the superlative form will be the farthest or furthest. If we have all, it will be older than. This is in comparative form. And in superlative form, I can say the oldest. Regarding to the comparative also, so old will be older than or elder than. This is in comparative form, but in the superlative form, I can say the oldest or the eldest. Okay? So we have two shapes for all in comparative form and in superlative form. Like for, as you see now, we have further, further than. We have the farthest and the furthest. Now guys, we have finished slide 9, and let's move on to slide 10. We have an important note. We have some two-syllable adjectives for comparative and superlative forms in both ways. Like clever, I can use it cleverer than or more clever than. The cleverest or the most clever. Common will be commoner than or more common than. The commonest or the most common. Regarding to narrow, it will be narrower than, more narrow than, or the narrowest or the most narrow. And we have simple, simpler than, more simple than, the simplest or the most simple. Now guys, we have finished the slide 10, and let's move on to slide 11. Other forms of comparative. We can use guys not, so, or as, plus adjective plus as to show the difference. For example, I can say, the match isn't so good as I expected. So now guys, if you notice now, I have the main adjective between so and between as, and I have a negative form. And also guys, I can say the match is as good as I expected. Or if I would like now to use a negative, I can say the match isn't as good as I expected. That means guys that I can use as or so if I'm using negative form. Also guys, we have another form, the comparative, to describe two actions or situations, one of which comes as a result of the other. For example, I can say, the more you study, the better you will do in the exam. So now guys, what we are doing, we are trying now to describe two actions or situations, one of which comes as a result of the other. We have also another form, comparative and comparative. He was driving faster and faster. Let's move on guys to the exercise, slide 12. As you notice now guys, we have finished now the difference between the comparative form and the superlative form, and we are ready to answer some questions. On slide 12, choose the correct word. Number 1, I am than Ali. As you notice now guys, we have than. That's why we can put taller. I am taller than Ali. So now I'm making a comparison between me and Ali. Number 2, she is a bit than her sister. As you notice now guys, we have than. That's why we can put shorter, a bit shorter than. I'm making a comparison now between this girl and the sister. Number 3, Manal is than Iman. So I can choose now more beautiful than Iman, and I'm making now a comparison between Manal and Iman. saying that Manil is more beautiful than Iman. And they cannot say, guys, beautifuler. Why? Because it's a long adjective. So I'm saying more beautiful than. Number 4, he speaks slowly than me. Yes, that's very good. The correct answer will be less. Let's move on to number 5. Living with your family can be easier than living on your own. Now we are making a comparison between living with your family and living on your own. That's why you are using now the comparative form. Easier than. Now let's move on to slide 13. Number 6. He spent much money on food than buying clothes. So the correct answer would be more. Yes, that's right. Number 7. Giraffes are than camels. Now you have than. That's why you are making a comparison between giraffes and camels. So the correct answer will be taller. Number 8. Snakes are more dangerous. Scorpions. Yes, you have now more, and then you have now a long adjective. Then you will put than. This is a comparative form. You are making now a comparison between snakes and scorpions. Number 9. Rami is intelligent than Hani. Yes, that's very good. You can choose less. Less intelligent than Hani. And you are making now a comparison between Rami and Hani. Let's move on to number 10. Now she is than she was yesterday. Yes, you are making now a comparison. That's why you have to choose happier. Happier than. Number 11. Ali is boy in our team. Now guys, you are making a comparison now between Ali and all the students, all the boys in the team. That's why you have to choose the strongest. Number 12. Mona is girl I have ever seen. Mona is the tallest girl I have ever seen. Now I'm making a comparison between Mona and all the girls that I seen them before, that I have seen them before. Okay? So the correct answer will be the tallest. Now guys, we have finished the slide 13 and let's move on to slide 14. As you notice now guys, number 13, Amira is girl in the party. Yes, I'm making now a comparison between Amira and all the girls in the party, so the correct answer will be the most beautiful. Number 14, whales are sea animals. Yes, the correct answer will be the heaviest. Number 15, rockets are flying machines you can ever imagine. Yes, that's very good. You can put the fastest. Number 16, she is beautiful of them all. It will be the least beautiful of them all. Because you are making now a comparison between this girl and all the girls. Okay? And he said that she is the least beautiful. Number 17, that ridiculous story I have ever heard. Yes, the correct answer will be the most. Number 18, Peter is the tallest boy in the class. That means guys, I'm making now a comparison between Peter and all the boys inside this class. So the correct answer will be the tallest. Number 19, the Nile is river all over the world. Yes, that's very good. The correct answer will be the longest. I'm making now guys a comparison between the Nile and all the rivers around all over the world. Let's move on guys to slide 15. Okay, and slide 15 guys, we have another kind of questions. Correct the adjectives. Australia is, between two brackets, big than England. So now I'm making a comparison between two. So the correct answer will be bigger than. And then let's move on to the next sentence. I am good now than yesterday. Okay, so I would say I am better than now. I'm better now than yesterday. So the correct answer guys here in this sentence, it will be I am better now than yesterday. I'm making now a comparison between my mood now and my mood yesterday, and my yesterday mood. Then he thinks Chinese is the difficult language in the world. Okay, so now I'm making the comparison between Chinese as a rewrite the following sentences using the words in brackets giving the same meaning. Number 1, the Nile is the longest river in the world. Between two brackets, no other river. So I have now letter N capital. As you see, that means that I have to start my sentence by no other river is longer than the Nile. Let's move on to number 2. I have never met such a good friend. And between two brackets, the best. So I can say, he is the best friend I have ever met. Then, let's move on to number 3. If you study hard, you will do well in